shop for games, walkthroughs, and just general fuckwittery.
And as it turns out, very poor audio quality, thanks in part to the rubbish microphones at Harvey Norman. Cheers, guys. But bear with us, we're a bit rubbish, we're a tad new, it comes with the territory, but give us time and we'll improve, somewhat. If we were good, we'd be called IGN, not N9G, or whatever it is we're calling ourselves. So bear with us, enjoy it, crack a few beers, and let's get into this. And I want to talk about the Saints. Das, give me your opinion on the Blues first, and then I'll argue with you.
Look, as I'm sure over the many videos you'll hear from us too, I am a die-hard Blues supporter. There's no two ways about it. So I will admit I have very biased views sometimes, but I also think that this year we have shown that we are getting a lot better, and I do think that is undeniable. Whilst we may not have the wins that that we should have got, e.g. last week against Adelaide, that would have been a game most would have tipped as a certain win.
Yep.
We didn't get that, so there clearly is some issues there. But I do think we have the spine and the majority of the playmakers to proceed up the ladder and finish finals next year, and the year after that go higher.
See, this is where I'm going to start disagreeing with you, man. Like, we've spoken about this a few times, but I look at Carlton and I see individual players that are very good. You've got one genuine, absolute star in Paddy Cripps, potentially the best player in the game, for sure. And then you've got literally a handful of other A-graders, and then it just sort of falls off a cliff, I think. And I also don't see, say, what's happened with the Saints, where you have trade-ins that are like high B-class or solid A-class players, and I don't see young guns coming through and developing that are ready to take the next step. Again, I use the Saints as an example, say like your Jack Steels, that are right up there now with your absolute A-graders for their position. So, man, I honestly think, you've said, you're in a position to go to the finals next year. Man, I don't see it, eh? Oh, if you do, like 9th, 8th, 7th.
What needs to be said is that yes, I am biased. That is just categorically true. I am biased.
Aren't we all?
But that's what you get when you follow a team so extensively. You end up being that biased fan base. But I honestly think we do. We've got a centre half back who is potentially all Australian this year in Wiedering. We have a gun midfielder, as you say, Paddy Cripps, who he's been down this year. That's fair to say. Like, he hasn't had his best year. We've got an up and coming star in Sam Walsh.
Yeah.
We have Harry Mackay, who's our full forward, and he'll be our full forward for the next 12 years. And let me tell you, at 204 centimetres tall, there's not a whole lot of defenders who can actually go with him when he runs and jumps at the ball.
So I really hate that argument about tall forwards, because you know as well as I that tall dudes are double-sided. They're a bit of a double-edged sword. Yes, potentially they have the ability to just have that extra hands reach above the defenders against the pack, whatever. And if they really jump, they're bloody 20 meters tall in the air. But they're also really fucking uncoordinated, and they take a long time.
That's also true. But one of my favourite sayings is that you don't get shorter as the day goes on.
Yeah.
If you start a game at 204 centimetres, guess what? By the end of the game, you're still 204 centimetres. And you're going to, whether you like it or not, a defender and the forward too, they're going to tire. But if you've got an extra 10 centimetres on them, you're going to win more than you you're going to lose.
Well, by that same argument, though, say the defender is a more well-rounded athlete, right? And their skill level's higher in terms of their just general ball use and their knowledge of the game, and also their knowledge of their body and how to use it. So while your big man's tiring, the defender's tiring, but your big man's skill level will drop off at a greater rate. So it's fourth quarter. Yes, the defender's tired. Yes, he's 5 centimeters short or whatever he is. Your tall man's still 210 whatever he is, but he's knackered too, and he can barely find his feet. It's a very long,
Yeah,
it's a
but
very long way
we
down from dropping the ball from your hips from a 210 centimeter to the foot.
yeah, absolutely. But we're talking about professional level athletes here. Now, I get where you're coming from, but if you want to make it to the top of your game, you've got to be the best in your game.
But we also see week in, week out, professional level athletes, AFL level athletes, national level athletes, 30 meters in front, kick the bloody ball out in the full as forwards.
Yeah, and that's any shot I go. The whole game has completely changed from a long time ago.
Yeah.
When it was football, not athletic ball. Really.
Well, we can certainly agree with that.
But to get back on topic with Carlton, I don't think we are too far out of the situation, or too far out of it that we won't play finals either next year or the year after. I'm of the opinion that next year will be our year. We're not gonna be pushing top four or anything like that, and I fully expect us to just literally scrape through.
Yeah.
But I do expect us to be playing finals, and that's a reasonable expectation. We've got a star, as we discussed earlier, two star midfielders. We have a star half forward in Jack Martin, who is one of the more underrated players of the competition, I think.
Yep, we'll go with that.
We have a playmaker off the half back line in Sam Doherty. And I genuinely think that we have the building blocks in place. One midfielder we talked about is Setterfield. He hasn't been in the limelight too much, but he's improved his game by 7 or 8 disposals this year.
Nailed this bloke.
And you don't get that just by rocking up to training and just dealing with it. You get that through hard work and effort.
Yeah. No, I mean, as I said in the intro to this, man, you have a handful of players that are absolute A class. But again, I don't see where you're going to get your trade-in improvement. I don't see where your kids that are going to become your next Jack Steels. I don't see your kids that are gonna jump up and all of a sudden just assume responsibility for that team's improvement. It's sort of the same old story with Carlton. You guys have been around that sort of top of the bottom third to into that second third of the ladder now for almost a decade, probably longer.
Yeah. But in saying that though, our last finals appearance was only 6 years ago, and since we're using St Kilda as a comparison, your guys' last appearance was 10 years ago.
Yep.
You guys have been through this rebuilding phase for 4 years longer than us.
Yeah, true.
And now you guys are seeing the benefits of that rebuild.
Well, yes and no. I mean, we floundered that rebuild for many, many years, right? I would only say it's since... I want to give a bit of credit to Alan Richardson. I think he's laid the groundwork for a lot of the younger kids to come through and develop. But certainly the recruitment of some really key players from external clubs on high level, that's been turned around, and that really I give credit to Brett Ratton there. Guys like Hill, guys like Ryder, guys like you do with Howards. Hanbury, I'm still not sold on Hannah's. I want him to be everything that he was, But I think his hamstrings are made of shoestrings right now, so I don't think he's durable anymore.
Yeah, I think you guys made a mistake
Good
in
shooting.
going for Hanbury. Not because he's a bad player, and not because he's an unworthy recipient of that contract. Because at that time he was quite good.
Yeah.
But I just feel like he has passed his use by date, essentially.
Oh, I completely agree, man.
And I think, I do think, however, that you guys have absolutely nailed your recruiting the past couple of years. You guys have absolutely nailed your recruiting the past couple of years. That's undeniable. And I think, like I said, I genuinely believe Carlton is in that position where we can springboard back up the ladder. Because I think we're in a position like you guys were in under Alan Richardson, where you guys finished multiple times, in that 9 to 11th position.
Yep.
And I think Carlton, we've had 2 years now. We've finished that 9 to 11th or 12th position.
Yeah. You know what, man? I think because I want to talk about some other things, but I think that what will be the tell of who's right out of the two of us will literally be whether Carlton are successful in the next 2 to 3 years. If they can get, and I'm not saying flag them, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if Carlton can get, I reckon their ultimate success in the next 2 or 3 years is to get to a prelim final.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to make finals next year. I would expect them to make finals the year after. And the year after that, so that 3-year mark, I would expect them to push to a prelim final. They might lose it. That's fine. I think that's still reasonably successful for them. And then perhaps, 4th year, getting to 5th year, looking for a flag. If they don't achieve that, though, and you guys stay in that second third of the ladder that you have for the last decade, man, I reckon the cycle is going to repeat. And Teague is going to get the arse, and you're going to do another rebuild, and you're going to lose. You're either going to lose your stars like your Paddy Cripps, your Dohertys, your Wiederings, because they're going to get offered bigger money for, frankly, better clubs or better performing clubs at that time, because they're going to chase flags. That's what kids do these days.
Yeah, agreed. No, I completely agree. And I think we as Carlton supporters should be, open to that.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. I think I took up all the time talking about Carlton there, but
That's
as you can see, I'm a passionate man. So
you are. Speaking of passion, let's talk. Let's talk grind my gears, mate. What gives you the shits? What gives you the shits?
Well, look, this is what really grinds my gears is conducive of where I am situated currently, and we're coming into spring, and I just want fucking sunny weather. I'm sick of the dour, cold, rainy days.
So a bit of context for the 2 viewers that we probably have by this point after talking about Carlton for 15 minutes. So Turtle here lives in Ballarat, which is a shithole.
Calling it a shithole is
accurate.
An apt description.
Yeah.
It is incredibly apt. It's also freezing every goddamn day.
Yeah.
And so it is incredibly frustrating when I have to wake up, I look outside, and it's already grey and overcast.
It's miserable when you do that.
And threatening to just piss down and pour all day. And you're just like, well, fuck. What's the point of getting out of bed in the morning?
That's exactly right. Why would you?
Exactly. And so ultimately, mate, that is what really just grinds my gears. I just want sunny weather. So it's not too much to ask for.
So, of all the things you could have picked to have a rant about, you're going to have a rant about the weather.
Yep.
All right. Well, now,
when you've lived in Ballarat for as long as I have, the weather affects you.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you come up to Queensland, I think you will just combust because you simply don't have the ability to deal with UV rays from sunlight anymore because you haven't seen sun in like 10 years.
Yeah. Well, we already know. We already know that I'll just
Look at this.
I'll be fucked.
Let him in properly. Yeah. All right. Well, I tell you what. I tell you what grinds my gears at the moment because
Go for it.
the weather is not an issue for me here up here in Paradise. Fucking
Hit me.
traffic light sequencing. When
Right, go on.
you're driving along a road, right, and you're staying on this one road, it might be a main road, might be a series or whatnot. Particularly, but when you're on a main road and you just find one road, you haven't turned left, you haven't turned right, you just find the road, and you get red light after red light after fucking red light. Now I can understand if I'm driving along and I'm doing the speed limit, right? Because I always do the speed limit, viewers. Always
Safety first.
safety first, unless you're late, in which
Turtle in
case.
chief. Turtle in chief. Respect safety first.
But except a 5 to 10k buffer either way.
Yeah.
If I'm on a straight road, right, I'm doing the speed limit and I've started, so the light has just turned green. I get up to the speed limit at a reasonable pace. I'm not flooring it. I'm just driving along, and then it's red light, red light, red light, red light the whole way. How does that not drive me fucking insane? And also, that bloody promotes people speeding. Because you know, or you should know, roughly how long it's going to take to get to wherever it is you're going to go, right? You type it into Google Maps and it says, oh yeah, this takes 20 minutes. You go, all right, cool, I'll budget 25 minutes for that. Well, you're doing that and you do the right thing. You leave 25 minutes before you got to be somewhere.
Yep.
What Google Maps can't deal with is the stupid fucking sequencing the traffic lights, which end up adding, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fucking minutes to your goddamn journey. And you're like, there's no one else on the fucking road. And this has become a good fucking rant now. The train's left the station, right? There's fuck all other traffic on the road. Because sometimes I got to work at shit o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. There's no fucking traffic. There's no reason for me to be halted because of other people. It's the fucking system. And if I type into Google Maps that it takes 26 minutes to get somewhere, and I ended up getting there at 32, 33 minutes because of fucking traffic light sequencing that for some reason decides if I am going from a flat red light, right, start on a red light, turns green, and I'm proceeding along, then it's deemed, it's necessary for the next light to be a red so that one car or no cars can turn onto my goddamn street in front of me because they have to go. Why the fuck could they not have gone when I was one set of lights back on a fucking red light? I know the traffic department or the transport department just make this shit up with fuck all science. I know this because one of my partner's parents got the shits about this too in Canberra. And he rang them up and he had a big whinge, big sook and said, this is bullshit. You must do a better job. And do you know what the answer he got was? Yep, no worries. Fair enough, we'll change it. And they fucking changed it. So it's 100% doable. They just take the piss and make it up, and it's literally, I reckon what they do, it's a randomizer, the system. It works on a randomizer button. They just press a randomizer button, and it goes beep, boop, bop, 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 and just picks any old series that makes no fucking sense, and that's what they go with. And that's it.
Well, mate, I think you've absolutely nailed that grind my gears. You've really outdone yourself there.
Oh, mate, I need some fucking WD-40 after that, because I'm all sorts of rusty and grumps after that. Fuck.
Oh, mate, you've hit the jackpot there.
Like, if you were travelling, right, between 15 to 20 kilometres, distance-wise, and this isn't as the fucking crow flies, this is following the goddamn path, it should not take you any more than fucking 25 minutes to get there. But the cities do this to slow you down. And then they wonder why we fucking speed.
Well, it's a goddamn conspiracy theory, isn't it?
It is a goddamn conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Well, mate, I think you've absolutely nailed the grind my gear section there.
Oh, I wasted so much time, but it's.
Well, it was worth it though.
It's like a weight off my shoulders, but I just know when I drive home at night, I have to re-encounter that traumatic experience every time. And I tell you what, I'm starting to get fucking PTSD from it. I swear to God. I'll be there like making breakfast and just getting shittier, and I feel my heart rate, my blood pressure, everything's going through the fucking roof because I'm thinking about the goddamn lights on fucking Gympie Road.
I think you've absolutely nailed that, and maybe even write a letter to City Hall. Maybe try and get them to change their traffic lights.
Oh, I can't be fucked, frankly.
All right. Well, was there one last topic you wanted to discuss?
Well, how long we got left in the video? Oh, we got 4 minutes. All right. You know what? Let's briefly discuss the Melbourne lockdowns because that's been requested. You're obviously a part of them. In stage 3 now, I think you guys are because you're still counted as regional, I think.
Yeah, I'm regional big.
Right. Well, why don't you give me your assessment because for the viewers' understanding, I grew up in Melbourne. I spent 22-ish, 3-ish years there, and then I saw the light, and moved to a much more intelligent place.
Well, look, to keep it short and simple, I understand why we're in this lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
I do. It's an annoying issue we have to deal with, but I do understand it. What I don't think helps is that there's a bunch of people who just don't seem to understand the gravity of the situation. And they're organising these riots, these acts, or these freedom rallies.
Mm-hmm.
When in actuality they're just hurting all other chances.
Yeah, I would agree that the rallies serve no purpose. However,
No.
I can understand and I actually agree with the purpose of the rallies, which is, I mean, look, the problem with this shit is there's so many different causes that all get bunched into one, and the actual cause becomes so diluted that no one end up understanding nor agreeing with the actual cause of these protests. But my interpretation of it is pretty simple. Like there is a point where civil liberties do trump lives, I think. And if you look at the epidemiology of, since we can't mention its name, we'll just call it Voldemort. You guys will all figure that one out. The death rate is next to nil. And those that are dying all have comorbidities, so they otherwise would have died. So this virus now is no more dangerous than the flu. Our public health sector and our private health sector has a handle on it. It is time to go to a far more suppressive strategy instead of elimination. That's never going to work. Again, look at the flu. Have we ever eliminated the flu? No, we haven't. So yeah, I don't agree with the way Victoria's handling that right now. We'll talk about it more next week, no doubt. Dedicate more time, but that's just our brief summary on it. Because we do have to watch and be careful what we say, because the walls have ears.
Yeah. Well, I think that wraps it up nicely for today, Chief. I think we've covered enough topics and given a little insight into who we are as content creators. So hopefully you enjoy this style of content, and we look forward to your participation in the next few videos.
Love it, Turtle. Very clinical, very surgical. I love it. All I would add is that we're rubbish but brilliant. So get on board. It's going to be a good ride. Cheers, guys. Catch you later.